What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more New Order, and we're returning to the Substance compilation, 1987. Thank you again to Erik. And we're on to the second LP in the two-record compilation, and the first track is Perfect Kiss, which I noticed when I put it on my turntable. It says it's produced by New Order and Michael Johnson, so I'm not sure who that is in relation to their larger catalog or other artists he may have produced for, but I did catch that little detail. And yeah, Perfect Kiss, it sounds like an ideal, it sounds like something from fiction or from a classical understanding of something which takes place in more commonplace situations and which probably is not always ideal or perfect. But I suppose by that very token, saying Perfect Kiss is implicitly comparing it to other non-perfect kisses. If all kisses were perfect, then you wouldn't need to specify. So yes, it sounds like a very special and maybe unique kiss, and the context in which that takes place would presumably be romantic, but even then, not all romantic relationships, or indeed romantic kisses, would be on that flawless level. So I wonder the situation at hand. I do feel like it might be idealized, meaning not something that's actually happening, but which the narrator maybe wants to happen or is recalling happening one time but not since then. It feels like it still will be up on a pedestal even if it is somehow attainable. So let's see what it is, or what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Perfect Kiss by New Order from the 1987 compilation Substance. Oof, what a snare. A bit tribal. Bit of a halting, syncopated beat. The deeper end of the synth bass.
I still got
cycling percussion and bass. Bullfrogs? I'm stunned. What the hell? Okay, so that was just wild for multiple reasons. Now, I gotta say, the first like 40, 45, 50% of it had lyrics, but those have almost completely evaporated from my brain because of all it was doing sonically, and which kept building and cycling and evolving and ultimately crescendoing, if that's even a verb, or a conjugation of that verb, by the end of the track. So lyrically, I won't have as much to say on this one because I was sort of mesmerized, but that brings me to the point that I want to make first, really, about the Sonics. In many ways, this is a brighter, bigger, and more dance floor kind of tune than anything I heard on Movement, but in one critical respect, it reminds me of some of the tracks on that album, in that it was very hypnotic and mesmerizing, and by the time it was shifting into different sections in the latter half, I was sort of like in my headspace and just kind of following the shifts in the arrangement, a new brighter keyboard coming in, but cycling, that lower end bass line still rattling around and rolling along, all those little percussion flourishes, one that was sort of like a wood tap, and then that big snare, and then eventually there were these like hitting glass bottles and metal pans sort of rhythm, like all these different sonic layers and rhythms were part of this larger palette, and at different sections one would come to the fore, another would recede. Sometimes it's all of them going at once. By the end, it really was bringing it all back into the tune and rising to this higher level, to the point where I felt like I was being lifted out of my seat. But again, it wasn't as dark, it wasn't as brooding, or what's the right word? Like hypnotizing in a heavy way, but it was still as mesmerizing and hypnotizing as the movement stuff, just in a different direction. And it's funny because I say it was more dance floor, it was more electronic than that album. It absolutely was, but it wasn't just straight away 4/4 beat with a hi-hat and a snare on every other beat the whole time. It started with that like halting, syncopated rolling rhythm, and then even when it came in with like a 4/4 kick drum, it still had all these other rattling elements, percussive and bass line, and even melody, which felt very rolling and bubbly and multi-part as it rolled along, that it felt like a more rhythmically complex tune than just like a simple house track or like a simple dance floor track. So it had a lot going on sonically that both relates to what I've already heard from them from earlier years, but also is clearly moving into a more mid-80s type of synthetic dance floor electronic sound, but in a unique way, just not like a lot of other synth pop that I've heard from this same era. So yeah, a lot going on sonically. As I said, I do apologize. I don't remember hearing the phrase perfect kiss, so maybe it's not actually in the lyrics, maybe it is, I just didn't catch it, but it didn't seem to be a common refrain or part of the chorus. And as I said, it seemed like, not unlike maybe a tune like from Japan, which I've talked about in a lot of Japan reactions, where like the tune might be like 7 minutes long, but there's really only vocals and lyrics in like 3 of the minutes. So there's this long intro, then a section that's more like a regular song, and then like 4.5 minutes of sonic exploration after that. It felt sort of like that structure-wise. It wasn't like right away we get our chorus or maybe our first verse, then the chorus, second verse, chorus, outro, where you're just repeating the chorus. It wasn't like a normal or simple song structure. Now don't get me wrong, simple song structures can be great if it's a great song and if the sonics are good and so on, but I also appreciate groups and songs that depart from that typical structure and basically make the tune more experimental or exploratory in the way it's composed. And again, it felt like the last 3-4 minutes were just evolving through these sonic schemes and configurations, and sort of making me go into my headspace, but also just be along for the ride. And I'm just kind of holding on and like, oh wait, it brought that back, and oh wait, now it's those big chords, and now it's like an even brighter melody, and now it's everything all at once, and then whoosh, it sort of fades out, and that's it. So yeah, I don't really know what to say thematically on this one. I still wonder what Perfect Kiss is all about, but a really incredible track. Let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.